let you dive right into today's topic. So, folks, listen firmly.
You find it? Yeah, go ahead.
All right.
Yes, good morning, everyone. Good morning, Cartensia.
Good morning.
Yes. So this morning's topic it's change of ownership policy for businesses. Sorry, I'm just trying to get the yes. So we're just trying to clarify all the documents and the procedures that are needed for persons with businesses and have vehicles that they intend to transfer ownership of. I would ask the sergeant to kind of start.
All right, that's okay. Let me just try and.
Why, in particular, did you choose today that is business and not just the regular person?
We have different topics here.
Okay.
But for the business, basically, the procedure for the business and personal vehicles are similar, but there's more requirements
For
when
the
it comes to the
business
business.
aspect.
Business,
Okay.
yeah. 'Cause, that's license stuff.
Right. So, what has happened, Cartens, and pleasant good morning to our radio listeners. That at traffic department, we recognize these guidelines and policies came about as some frequency or inconsistencies as to the procedures in place. And so most people will say that they're not aware, well, this what is happening, and they become frustrated when they are being told what really needs to take place. One of the things that persons have to bear in mind that we at the traffic department, we are the custodian of people's personal information with regards to their property. And as the custodian, we have to be very mindful as to the legal implication, and so that there isn't any legal jeopardy that predisposes the government and the traffic department being the agent or the licensing authority being the agent of the government to any legal liability. We have to make sure that everything is done within the proper scale of things, and so that it can stand whatever legal test of scrutiny that it is. So together, what we call a policy authorization to transfer ownership of motor vehicles on behalf of companies and businesses. So what I'll try to do this morning is to help people to understand how you treat a vehicle register in the name of a company, and that company wants to sell the vehicle. Probably they're changing the fleet of vehicles and they want to sell the existing fleet. How you go about that, and one of the things that we pay special attention to is who is authorized to do that transference on behalf of the company. Similar business, whether it is a sole trader or a partnership, there are policies and guidelines. So the point is really to standardize the government as to who is authorized to transfer ownership of motor vehicle on behalf of a company or a business entity. And the scope of the policy applies to all transfer of ownership of motor vehicles registered in the name of companies incorporated under the Companies Act, or a partnership or a sole trader operating under a registered business name, or a statutory body or government ministries. So even with the government departments, when there is a transfer of a vehicle, then there is a particular procedure that must go in place.
And
so who are authorized persons? All persons may lawfully execute a transfer of ownership on behalf of a company or business. And so the transfer may be executed by a director of the company, the company secretary, or the company secretary, or any other officer or employee formally authorized in writing by the company board of directors. So, for example, TDC is selling one of the vehicle, and they are selling it whether to a staff member or someone outside of the company. Then the general manager cannot come and do the transfer on behalf of TDC as a company. For the general manager to perform that task, TDC, the board of directors, will have to write a letter to the traffic department or the licensing authority authorizing that, stating that they are authorizing the general manager to transact the transference on their behalf. All right?
So you're just the director, excuse me, the director of the company or the company secretary?
Secretary.
Okay.
Right. So if, and we understand these are executive officers and they are busy people, they will not want to come to the traffic department and engage. And so we are not saying that it is absolute that they must come to do that to have the transaction transacted. But if they're going to be any other persons authorized, that is who is not have that legalization within our policy guideline, then they must indicate in the letter. They also have to indicate the vehicle, all the specifics of the vehicle, as the engine, the chassis size, the engine number, the chassis,
engine size.
the engine size. Those pertinent because these are unique identification. So we want to make sure that there isn't any mix-up in a different vehicle as opposed to the vehicle intended for sale or transfer.
Yes.
And so that is in the case of, for the companies, if it is a partnership, listed on the partnership registration are authorized in writing by all of the partners, both partners. We have situations where secretary come to the traffic or general manager come, and this is where the frustration comes because one of the things we have kids we're supposed to say, well, all the time I've been coming and I never used to have any problem and so on. And so sometimes everything may seem okay until then it's just not okay. Yes. And so because changes are evolutionary, and once you have a department that is active in different things as to how you provide a particular service, from time to time you will have to assess the effectiveness, because at the end of the day you want to make it just like a house. You eliminate any opportunity for intrusion, and so on. And so you look at where you can harden the eventuality that persons may want to exploit. Yes. And so that is the whole reason behind these policies. Because we are the custodian, we are guarding these property on behalf of the person, and we don't want to be a case. We instantly for
that
sure.
That is what I wanted to ask.
We have had instances. We have a call? Yep. Oh. I'm so sorry.
I didn't realize you don't have all your...
Yeah.
So I wasn't being heard?
No, you were being heard, but you can't hear him.
He was trying to say something.
Yeah.
You were just about to say that there are instances that happen, and that is the question I wanted to ask. Give us a scenario of where it could go wrong.
Experience with there was this person who would have left their vehicle in care of another person and went overseas for a while, and the person would have come to the traffic department and said that the person authorized them to sell the vehicle, and you just acted and it and take it in good faith. And next thing you authorize the transfer, and then the person showed up and say, well, talk to the person. Yes, I vehicle with the person, but I never gave the person authority to transfer the vehicle. And you know what happens? The person went, then the lawyer and the person shows up at traffic department. They want proof of ownership. They recognize that ownership have already been transferred. Then come another letter to the licensing authority.
And as the sergeant stated, that another issue we had, persons would have come to the traffic department, ask for a form, leave and come back with 2 signatures on that form, when they were the one who signed for both.
Right.
Claiming that the other party signed.
Wow.
Do we lock up people for these things so they won't do
well,
this?
It is fraud and so on, and then, but it will require investigation and everything.
Wow.
It also brings up something that I know you police tend to run from, a lot of paperwork. You have to be going through all
we take that's the truth. That's and in these cases,
it leads to hell.
you find yourself in hot water, right? And so, with some instances, there was another instance where someone died, and I think the wife showed as the owner, but when the will would the will would have probated, it wasn't for the wife, and it would have already transferred to the wife, and so these are things that they are
Yes.
and so we have to make sure that we cover ourselves, we protect the government, because Joe, I think that the letter included the cost, the value of the vehicle, and then the government end up have to settle in relation to that regard. So
we never thought of traffic, all those intricacies. We just think, hey, you're on the road, you stop cars,
education effort to inform the public, because bring frustration is that people in traffic that you could just run from your work, take a 5 minutes, do no, it will not happen. It cannot happen.
Okay.
So to do anything at traffic, you have to come with a mindset that it will take a while, because we have to make sure that our I's are dotted and our T's are crossed. And so I also encourage the staff not to do anything under any pressure situation.
Good advice.
And they say, I've been waiting there for a long time and so on. I said, please ask the person if they have anything else to do, they can go and come back, or they give an indication as to when, but it cannot happen. And we understand the frustration of persons, because Hortensia, the reality is we don't like to go anywhere and have to wait, especially if you're pressured with time and you have other things, you might ask for a few minutes from your job and so on. And we understand all of that, but because of the legal implication in these transactions, we have to ensure that everything is above board.
You have a caller.
And so, yes.
Caller, go ahead for the officers. You're live on Traffic Talk. Good morning.
Good morning. This requirement that you're asking for companies that directors, first of all, write a letter, does this apply to every individual vehicle that is being transacted? A separate letter must be sent?
We are taking it in stages, so we are dealing with businesses and companies. A private transfer, since you asked the question, it is much simpler. So you
It's about businesses. My question is about businesses. You know, company John Brown Limited owns 20 vehicles.
Yeah.
In the course of the year, that company may choose to sell 8 of those vehicles. Are you saying each time it wants to sell 8 of those vehicles that it has for its own use, it must send a director-signed letter detailing all of this information?
Right. 88 vehicles at the same time.
Yeah, but once it's not
So
being
may I
done at the
suggest-
same time.
Yeah.
So may I suggest that rather than adding to the paperwork, adding to the complexity, it would be so much simpler if and easier if the directors could inform the department, this employee with all of their specifications is authorized to transact the sale of vehicles on behalf of company John Brown Limited. Because this notion we have in government whereby you must write a letter to things is long-winded, unnecessary. If I have to if I had to write a letter to get a passport or write a letter to get some other big government service, it could be rather confusing because I may write a letter and tell them about my grandmother and where I got the money from to buy the vehicle in the first place. If there's simply a form to fill out, you say, here's the information that we need. We need the following information. You provide it to us with the supporting evidence, and then the authorized persons on behalf of the company sign and say, we appoint employee X, whose details are as follows, who transact these businesses on behalf of the company, rather than every time the directors have to get involved. Imagine asking TDC or RAMS that someone in the hierarchy of that large company has to get involved to write a letter every time they want to sell a vehicle.
But they sign the letter, but they don't write the letter.
Because the letter is already formatted.
Matter,
They
I'm
just have to change the
asking,
date.
cannot they say this employee has the authority to conduct business on our behalf?
It sounds very prudent, but I will ask you this question. What if after that letter has been written and signed, that employee no longer works for the company, and that employee becoming aware of that authority and decided to do the same thing and traffic act on the fact
point-
that there is a
How is this former employee going to sell a vehicle currently in the ownership of the company he or she no longer works for? It comes back to what you said earlier. If someone commits fraud, you prosecute them for fraud.
Stop it from happening.
Why wait for
It
it to
seems to
happen?
me as if in an effort to solve the problems that you outlined earlier, that setting up a system asking every single time someone where ownership of a vehicle is between more than one person, and in the case of companies, the directors of the company, because next thing you'll be asking us, is there a resolution from the board to sell this company, this vehicle? Okay, did the board authorize these 2 directors to sign this letter? Is that going to be the next stage? Because you don't have any proof that those 2 directors did not, between themselves, based on your supposition, decide to conspire to sell a vehicle to someone else. Be asking for a board of directors approval resolution.
Feedback. Yeah. The thing about it is that one, I'm not sure how frequent that a company will sell the vehicles unless it's something that they set out to do. Like I use the example where they might change a fleet of vehicles, and so they want to, like rental company,
Yes.
they want to pass it on to the staff or other persons.
A perfect example of a rental company that decides every so many miles or every so many years they're going to sell vehicles. Every time a vehicle gets to this checkpoint of so many thousand miles or so many years, we shall sell it. A company has 50 vehicles in its fleet. Reasonable to assume that at least a third of those vehicles may get rolled over every year.
Right.
You're saying that company Nevis or any other company must get directors to sign a letter.
All right.
I'm challenging the need for a letter which is not specific, as opposed to a form which you say, complete this form, tell us the information we want, because you put things in the letter that the traffic department couldn't give two hoots about, or you can leave out important information from that letter and have to start all over again. Complete this form, and then it has to be duly signed. That's a totally different idea. But the notion of writing a letter, if I had to write a letter to get my child into school, if I want to write a letter to get electricity provided to their house or water provided to their house, it would be far more unwieldy and say, fill out the application form.
Caller, what is the difficulty of writing the letter?
There's not a difficulty in writing a letter, but the impreciseness of writing a letter. Because you said to me, write a letter to the Minister of National Security and tell him that you want a passport. And you write a long letter telling him about your family and your cousin. As opposed to saying, fill out the application form where you say, all I need from you is this, because my letter may not contain all the necessary information that you're looking for, and it may contain more than you're looking for. It's always simpler, gentlemen, to fill out a form where the person who wants information says, this is what I want from you. Then say, write me a letter.
But the sergeant stated what need to be included, the vehicle information, the chassis number, the engine size, the weight of the vehicle, and what's not.
Okay?
Particulars that pertains to that vehicle should be included in the letter, along with the authorized persons to transact on behalf of the company. So the letter is not intended to be a long-winded letter unless that person chooses to do so. But the particulars that we are interested in is the identity of the vehicle, because you are giving a directive. It's like you go into a bank and you say transfer X amount of money from this account to that account. Mm-hmm. And
the
so
bank doesn't ask you for a letter. The bank says fill out the form.
Well,
the bank says
in my opinion, whether a form or a letter, there is no significant distinction or difference. And so, but I welcome the idea. It's something that we can actually look at and see the practicability of it, because at the end of the day, it must meet the purpose that we intended. And so once we see that as a viable option, then it's something that we can put as an option or an alternative. So we can say a letter or...
Just to look, as an example, that years ago, to get a work permit for someone, they said, write a letter. They have realized writing a letter telling us the following information didn't work. When you fill out a form and provide the specific information they need, because if the form has a line number 22 and you don't fill out line number 23, you know that information is missing. But when you write the letter, you don't necessarily, it is a way of a certainty, of assuring. Mm-hmm. It's just a general principle, whether it comes to traffic or anything else. When you want a service, if you had to complete a form filling out the following 12 lines of information, it is more likely to be accurate and less time consuming than a letter, because the two people in the office, they may have good handwriting. A third person may have poor handwriting. They may send a typed letter. I may handwrite something on a yellow sheet of paper. Okay? It adds to the challenges, and you say, oh, I didn't understand his handwriting and all that sort of stuff. I am just suggesting that, in spite of all that you said, forms to get information to transact business are much more efficient than writing a letter. Gentlemen, have a hard-working week, and lady, and may you have a safe day.
Thank you so much. But we'll definitely take your suggestion.
I think the most important part what the sergeant was trying to get is that they need mutual agreement, signatures. So form or letter, it doesn't matter. The board of directors have to come to a mutual agreement to say we all agree
To
that
sell.
this person can change the ownership.
Okay.
It's the same thing if you're applying for a certain loan, the board of directors for the bank have to come together to decide if they're going to grant that loan. If we have a joint account, for example, the police welfare, one person cannot go and sign for a check. So the signature and the approval of everyone, the mutual agreement, is what we're really looking for. We don't want one person to get up and decide, I feel like I could sell this vehicle to Cartencia. I am a part of the business, so I'm just going to sell without consulting with the rest persons.
Okay.
And one of the things that is important that we look for is the stamp or seal
Of the company?
company.
Okay.
And so I was saying that in the case where, let's suppose that a sole person, when I gave the example, like the person who was overseas, that now, before time it wasn't like that, but now, had that occurred now, then the person who overseas would have had to write that letter, and that letter would have to be notarized for us to be accepted. And we have even gone a step further in terms of that notarization, because at the same time, without creating any complication or hardship for persons, but rather protecting ourselves legally from any eventuality. We always encourage, not that we insist, but we encourage that if there is a local firm that the person might be undertaking work or is familiar, that firm can, the lawyer can write something to authenticate
You
that
have a caller.
from overseas.
Hi,
Yes.
good morning, good
Morning.
morning, good morning. Good morning to everybody.
Yes.
Regarding I heard the sergeant mention something about the traffic being, very busy, and you sometimes have to tell people go and come back if you have anything to do. I have a suggestion. Won't it be easier if people come into the traffic department on a daily basis, be given like an appointment, so at least you know your appointment is on a particular day, so you don't have everybody walking into traffic, to do everything, different things at the same time. You might have a day designated for something like that. I think appointments might be better, and that might kind of ease the long wait.
Yeah.
So
that
I'll call back. I've been trying to call him for the last half hour, but I have
Okay.
something else on the phone, but not for
Right.
traffic.
okay then.
But I think that idea would be good. Make
All right.
appointments.
Just,
Won't be
well,
too busy.
well, I take it just to say that that's an option that has been explored, but sometimes it's difficult because persons have different
Time.
things to do at the same time, and it will create a little bit more inconvenience and frustration. And so, as you come, you will be dealt with as expeditiously as possible. The thing is, the nature of your business or transaction sometimes may not require, is not something that can be completed within a short time. And so that is why we are saying that persons, whenever you're transacting business like those and you have other things, because sometimes we tend to say, well, okay, I'm going to go today, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do that. And you put a time to it. So when you come to traffic with your timeline, that may not work in terms of you getting your business done. So we are saying that whatever you have to do, it's best that you put it when you have the convenience to wait and get it done, or otherwise it's better for you to come, at least start it, and then you get an indication as to when you can come back and have it completed, if it cannot be completed at that time. I even thought of certain transaction, put a time in, just like what the caller was suggesting. Like people come for traffic report or whatever. So we say, you come, we deal with traffic report at 10 o'clock in the morning. So all who need traffic report, they come that time. And I was advised that would not really be a good suggestion.
Okay, caller, go ahead for the officer. This is our final call for the morning. Good morning.
Yes, yes, it is me. Now, the caller who was talking about making an application and that sort of stuff is a very, very good idea. Very good idea. Now, we have to, and that is why the private sector is above the government sector when it comes to initiative, ingenuity, and all those sort of stuff, creativeness, all those sort of stuff. Much, much above the government sector, the private sector, that is. You see, the thing is, you have to realize that directors are very, very busy people, and they travel a lot and that sort of stuff, okay? And you may want something might need to be done, and they might not be there to do it. And therefore, they should be able to designate or delegate to whoever to take on those responsibilities so that things can go quickly where the business is concerned. Because when you have all of these things, hindrances and all of these issues, and they cannot delegate anybody to do this, it must have to be them and that sort of stuff, you are becoming less and less business friendly. And that is not good for investors. The best economies are the best economies that are business friendly. We had a rating some time ago out of 190 countries when it comes to business friendliness. And we were rated 130 or 130 something. That's not good. So we should make things very business friendly and realize directors are very, very busy people and travels a lot and that sort of stuff. So yes, the caller was correct. Make application and let them also be able to designate who they see best to do and transact business in their absence.
But
You'll
be
be making things very inconvenient for businesses. Hello?
No, but if you look at it from this point of view, if the employee no longer works there, as Sergeant McGuire would have mentioned, then you need to send a letter saying, okay,
yes, of course, obviously,
that
of course.
going to take over. Okay.
And in
Yes,
most
of
cases,
course.
that does happen.
Oh.
One of the immediate action that, in terms of security protection, that persons always advise that when an employee retires, resign, terminated, you immediately deactivate whatever access they may have to the company. But in reality, that doesn't happen.
No.
It doesn't happen as fast enough. It doesn't happen at all. And so this might be one of the situations where that happens. And as the caller was trying to say, the possibility of that is less likely. I would like to take the caller up on that. Because depends on the person, the access that the person has. The person wants retribution or to be malicious. The person, in fact, can do that.
Look, okay, anything is possible. Okay, but what I'm saying, if a person is no longer working at a business because they retired or whatever, then they can't sign for the business. Because they have the business would have to appoint somebody else and then notify you.
They have a signed written document without a time period in it.
They have a what?
They're going to be having a signed document or approval for them to do transfer of those vehicles without a time period to it. So we wouldn't know if that person would have been terminated from the job. And then now that will become a problem for us because the first person they're going to complain to is the traffic department. And now you're making the police work harder. So to prevent all of that, we make those measures, we put those measures in place. It might be inconveniencing to some, but it's convenient for us to safeguard ourselves.
The thing about it, because our time is getting very few. So the thing about it is that from our experiences, we have to put in the guardrails to protect ourselves.
But at the same time,
and yes, we understand. We are not against the form. What we are saying that after you would have commit a designee, and there is no way of verifying the the continuity of that person, that can lead to unnecessary investigation, or when the house already bolted. And so we are saying that you have to keep it current, unless we say, well, the form updated on a regular basis, whether a 6 months, a year, or whatever, whether that is going to be in place, then we are saying that, and that is why I said it's neither here nor there, if whether it is a form or a letter. Just as recently, about 2 or 3 weeks ago, a wife came and asked for verification of ownership. When she got the ownership, the report, she checked the fact that her husband's name was on the ownership. What is the husband's name, and she ownership, and she did not put on her husband's name. And when it was investigated, the company that she purchased the vehicle, all the paperwork were there with the husband name from the beginning. So these, what we are speaking of, are real life situation, not just no eventuality.
And I understand too, because sometimes people's passion get into thing, because that was a passion thing where perhaps you break up now and you have this animosity, and and you didn't take the time to go back to the detail. And also in terms of
and she threatened lawyer, so she said to my lawyer, because when we realized that, and she came to me and she was saying, well, this is the proof of ownership. I put my husband's name on my vehicle. Why my husband's name is on the vehicle? So I said to her, I said, well, I can't deal with it right now. What I'll do, I'll investigate. We set an appointment, and then I can come back and we see if there was any error and why the error was made. Luckily, that the agent for the company was present over the conversation, and then invited her to the office and showed her all the paperwork. That person was very much acquainted with the incident.
And to your point about someone being employed again, certain things are very clear to me. I don't see why people make all this mix up. You've been employed with a company. All the officers are saying, when that company terminates by whatever means, simply let them know that you've been terminated. What is wrong with that? When you don't do that, and for instance, the person is malicious, we've seen some crazy things happening. That person goes, it is documented in the police record that that person has authority to do certain things.
And the police will act in good faith.
And the person now is not employed with Quint, but he goes and he does the very same thing he was authorized by Quint to do. Then you understand the complications for the police? Unnecessary. So simply Quint say, we have terminated X service. So when X name come up, you say, why X? We're going to have to sit down on the bench there because something ain't adding up. That's simple as that. Yeah.
And with the current form or letter, that eliminates the police having to go back and deal with an investigation, because if they come today and they don't have that letter, that physical letter for today with the signature, automatically they cannot start any business at the traffic department. So right there and then there's no problem to start with. But if they come with a letter that is signed without a time period for it, they come, they could transfer 6 vehicles, and we will only realize after.
In terms of the farm, though, that caller had a good point. Where he's saying, have a farm that whether it's 6 vehicles, 5 vehicles, the farm says this person, and it says the chassis number, all of the information is on the farm, and there's a part that says 3 vehicles for you can put in a box. So it makes it.
If it's going to be updated periodically or over time, then I see it will lose its value from achieving the objective that we really want to achieve. But I think it's a very good alternative to the letter.
Okay. You going to wrap up?
Because
we didn't even reach half, but
it's something that we won't be able to cover. We'll have to take in segment because we have spoke about the sole
documents
trader,
and
the different things and
yes,
so on.
statutory
So we'll
bodies.
take some time
Yeah.
and we take it because we recognize that it's something that is important for the general public to know. And I believe that that will help to alleviate some of the frustration, the inconvenience of having to go and come and go and come.
Yes.
Because you think it will be a smooth transaction and then you are told then this is the procedure you have to follow.
Yeah.
That can create some frustration. So that is
And,
why
and
we're
from
doing
what
this.
you all have explained this morning, that should let people understand it's not as easy as
No.
it looks. It's complicated. It's a lot that you have to, as the officer says, dot your I's and cross your T's.
Yes.
Yeah, and the sergeant made a point. Some persons are of the view because they are married and their partner die, automatically everything is theirs.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't
It
happen.
doesn't go like that.
Not in every case.
It doesn't work like that,
Yeah.
especially when it comes to vehicles.
And it's worse if you have two wives, like you have
Wow.
one before you divorce and
Oh,
then
yes,
the present
yes,
one.
yes, yeah,
It
yeah.
even get more complicated.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's why you had to make sure you have a solid will. Well, officers is always having you in
Yes.
studio. Thank you, and we look forward to seeing you next week.
Found the sound 98.9. WINFM.
36-inch French door, 20 feet of smart store, fitted with and dual makers. It's huge. Available at the TDC at and
Here are your Horsford Value Mart IGA Blue Tag Special.
Running February 19th to March 4th.
Hunt spaghetti sauces are just $5.99. Progressive soups, $13.99. Essential everyday chunk and shredded cheeses, $7.99. La yogurt, $3.39. Blue bunny ice cream, just $25.99. IGA or essential everyday waffles, $11.99.
Hello, our value deals. IGN Essential Everyday Honey Beer, $19.99. Chef Boyardee canned pasta and microwave pasta, $6.99. IGN Essential Everyday canned tuna, $3.49. Langus cranberry and pomegranate juices, $11.99. Soft soap liquid hand soap, $8.99. Irish Spring bar soap, $11.99. Shop Smart, Shop Value Mart. Tell them in Spanish.
Sea listo y haga sus compras aquí en Value Mart.
Don't throw those bottles away. Turn them into money today. Vitamalt bottles equal cash in your pocket. It's super easy. Just take those empty Vitamalt bottles to any Cara Brewery distribution truck or any drinks depot in St. Kitts and Nevis. We're keeping our beautiful Twin Island paradise clean. Vitamalt bottles equal cash back. Keep it clean, keep it green. Vitamalt bottle returns. Your bottles, your cash, your island.
Caribbean numbers come and play. Just one single dollar, that is the way. You can pick one number or two or three. I win up to 20,000, you see. 3 ways to play, 3 draws a day, 3 ways to win. Hear what we say. Caribbean numbers is the easiest game to play.
The new Caribbean numbers.
So play today.
At any Caribbean lottery agent island-wide.
So play today.
Magnum, my brand. Everybody put your Magnum now. From you a drink Magnum, let me see. Take charge of the place now. From the reach to the street. And tell me sweet. Look at me. Time check. Enjoy at the week with a Magnum. My life I forget sweeter. Must be 18 years and older to drink. Drink responsibly.
And it's just about 16 minutes after the hour of 9, and we are back on Island C. I know Gwen said she had something else she want to speak about. So, Gwen, you can call in when you are ready to touch on that topic. We have our next caller, Gwen, no?
No, we don't.
Okay. So, as I mentioned, come on, voice. As I mentioned earlier,
Okay, we seem to have one.
Caller, go ahead. You're live on Island T. Good morning. Excuse me.
Good rising, guys. Good rising to the listeners. Catency and Quint, yesterday morning I got up and I went to sit in the sun for a while. And as I looked out on the horizon, I saw what appears to be a destroyer, a battleship that was going. So I went in and I grabbed my binoculars and I was looking at this ship that was in our waters. I look at it for a while and I make out it had on a helicopter, quite a few.
Mm-hmm.
And I drove into Bastia yesterday evening for a drive and I saw it in our port. Now, it's an American warship. Last couple of weeks, I think, Secretary of State was in Berlin and he reaffirmed the Europeans in my understanding, listening to his rhetoric, the transatlantic trade, food trade, and stuff like, the Europeans' ancestors and all that happened. And in as much as he didn't go into 1884, I think he was indicating that when they carved up the continent of Africa in 1884, and when I listened to Rubio's speech, he's reaffirming that in as much as there's a cosmic change, they still have to maintain control. I also listened to Antonio Guterres, where in his speech, being the European chief, Guterres is saying that Europe need to leave the resources of Africa. Now, who is coming here if not today, tomorrow? The Secretary of State is due to arrive in our federation. Because the population knows what is going down. I mean, yes, we are hosting CARICOM, but I mean, Quint or Catencia, help me out here.
Mm-hmm.
Is this the first time that CARICOM is hosting such conference and the Secretary of the U.S. Department is going to be here?
Well, I know of the last one, but I don't know if the Secretary of State was here. I wasn't into stuff I don't think I was fully living here in 2011. That's the last time he was hosted here.
I don't think he was.
But okay.
No, he wasn't then.
It
has to be somebody.
CARICOM have held these meetings before. What my question is, has CARICOM have had a Secretary of State from the U.S. at previous CARICOM meetings?
Not as far as we know. Well, we stand to be corrected, though, but not as far as we know.
Right, yes. Let's be cautious here. But my thing is, are they making a statement that this ship is in our port, and now we have this man who was in Europe a couple of weeks ago or a week ago, and all that he said in Europe, he's now here. Is this a statement here to us?
Look, when you listen to, there's no way in this world that anyone can listen to Marco Rubio's speech and his demeanor as he made that speech and not see the link with that ship being out there at this time. It is all about intimidation. Marco Rubio was practically on his knees begging Europe to take me as a child. I am your child. Imagine you're rehashing Europe's history to Europe, You understand? Someone who comes from a mixture of Taino, European, and African blood. But he's telling Europe, its history, as if though, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of that leader of Haiti who sold out Haiti because he wanted one of the French leaders to adopt him as his foster child. Look back in the history books and you see that. You understand? A black individual wanting a Frenchman to adopt him as a foster child. And so you see all the things that he did that became a detriment to Haiti. He's the one who decided that he agreed that they would pay reparations to France and so forth. So beware of these individuals who have mixed identities but do not want to link with certain forms of that mixture and are trying to sell themselves as being completely European.
But you know something, Quint? Last week, Friday, I think I wanted to get him to share a view that I might have suggested that in the opening of the meeting, the CARICOM meeting, that our Prime Minister need to play one of Rubio's, that same clip with Rubio in Berlin. But now that I know that he's going to be here, you know, I can't even see that clip being played for the CARICOM leaders to listen to. In that forum, I mean, Quint. But no.
Well, why not? Why not?
Well, you see, like you said, their presence is to strike fear.
Yeah, but then if here's my thing. I mean, using a hypothetical. See, Hortensia is over there in that room. That room has a number of chairs, which means a number of individuals can sit in that room and have a discussion. That room has, I'm using a hypothetical now, has the Caribbean heads of government in it. You understand? They sit down. There should be no Marco Rubio in there. He has nothing to do with the Caribbean heads of government. They sit down there and someone says, it doesn't have to be our Prime Minister, but any one of them says, look, there's something that happened recently. I'm sure you're aware of it, but for your enlightenment, let's go back over it again. What is wrong from them doing that? Because there's a ship out there?
Yeah. Well, that's an angle to bring it in, Quint, yeah. But you see, now, the thing is, you see, we have to also see our Prime Minister, or any one of them, so to speak, and know their frame of mind. Because, you see, like we have said in the past, Quint, and I've said it quite often, this thing about going along to get along and recognizing that, well, I cannot come up against them as an individual. But here we are as a collective. We are as a body, CARICOM. It would be interesting to see the outcome of this, Quint, and I'm looking to see what
a lot of people have been saying, myself included, and Hortensia, we have all been saying, this is going to be a very interesting meeting, and it seems to be getting more and more interesting as the days and the hours go by. So it's going to be interesting to see how our leaders conduct themselves with a ship out there specifically planted there for the purpose of intimidation.
Yeah. Yep. But you know, Quint, it brings me back to the biblical character, the biblical deity. Because, Quint, for me, journey, is there any parallel to the biblical deity to all that is happening today in our world? The God that was enraged in the Old Testament, this jealous God, this God of anger, this stretch out his hand and kill, and order to kill. And are we not seeing any parallel to these people of power? And when they've put in their literature, the God of this world has blinded their eyes.
There's another caller. There's another caller. So.
To also mention this to Journey before he goes, I saw an article written by Sir Ronald Saunders. He's the ambassador to the OAS for Antigua and the chancellor of the University of Ghana. And this is the heading: if U.S. Secretary Rubio attends CARICOM summit, let it mark a reset, not a reckoning.
Reset?
I don't understand, really. I don't.
So Okay, if the U.S. Secretary, if U.S. Secretary Rubio attends CARICOM summit, let it mark a reset, not a reckoning. So what I'm gathering from that is that it's a reset to speak about the issues that are at hand and not a reckoning. So it's basically not something that we should be afraid of.
No, you see, this is why I cringe when these people do these things. Here's what can happen. We're not saying that the Caribbean heads of government cannot meet with Marco Rubio. We're not saying that. But we're saying when the Caribbean heads of government are having their Caribbean heads of government meeting to discuss Caribbean things, he should not be there. That is what I'm saying. After that meeting, you can always embrace him in a forum and say, what is on your mind? Or here's what is on our mind. You understand? Two different things entirely.
Yeah.
Don't come and tell me this nonsense about if he's there at the Caribbean heads of things, it's a reset. Reset to what? Have you not heard the man's recent statement? Don't you see what is happening now?
He also go on to say, and I quote, if Secretary Rubio meets CARICOM in St. Kitts, the most constructive conversation will not revolve around pressure. It will revolve around alignment.
And this is where, again, it shows you how our leaders set themselves up.
Just a second. Katense, your last word was just around what? Alignment, you said?
It will revolve around alignment.
This is, and you know what alignment means, Look, these people, let me say to the young people out there, especially those of you who want to go into politics, politics is not that easy thing that you saw before when our leaders go and they campaign and they cuss one another's mother and they cuss one another's this and that and this house thing, and then they get in power and they do as they like. This is a new era of politics. This is where you better learn political history, learn to be savvy, learn to be a diplomat, and learn to play hardball. These leaders are not ready for hardball. They're coming in to play cricket with a tennis ball.
But Quint, quickly, Donald Trump...
Remember, there's another caller.
Yeah, I'm going to finish that. Trump at one time, he said, Africans are waking up. They don't know that they have greatness within them. These were Trump words, right? Now, I don't know. Let me say it is alleged, because I don't know if he was an AI. But these are things that Trump is saying, that Africans know that they're great. They know they are waking up now. But here is it now. We're hearing words like it is in alignment.
But look, how can we forget our history so quickly? If a man is going to come and say Africa is waking up and they have greatness, that's the same man who said we were S-hole countries. You understand? So when you're going to come, this is to you, Johnny. So when you're going to come and you're going to say, always remember, so that you give us the two scenarios, because people have short memory and they're most likely to follow this thing about alignment. Anyway, there's another caller.
Yeah, I'll let the other person.
Yeah. Hello, caller.
Good morning, Quinn. Good morning, Quintia. Good morning, who's that, Journey?
Good morning.
Whosoever it is. Anyway, good morning to all listeners. Quinn, you uttered something when I called him to inject. But let me just say it from my mouth. CARICOM has their time when they will meet together, wherever, whenever. And that's planned for CARICOM. Now, since when CARICOM has, I will consider badge, when you're not invited to a certain, or you're not cut out to be in that gathering, you just drop in. Why would they interrupt their session to inject outside force when they could have had an appointment for that? Why it has to be in that particular time? And this is where I am upset, because as strong as America is, as strong as Mark Rubio is, as how they will need to dictate their playbook, I will say, we got to say, this is your appointment slot and you cannot be available here. And just like you said, you got to play hardball. not learn to play hardball. We could play hardball too because they're not invited when we do not say they are not invited. So I find our leaders, they are not themselves. They allow themselves to be intimidated by the big fish. But sometimes they are with us.
You think that if anyone in the U.S. or any other of those European countries are having a European conference, right? A European heads of government conference, a Caribbean person can just barge in, or can just go and say they want to be a part of it?
But can we say that he's barging, or can we say he was invited to have a meeting with everyone?
So that is the question. That is, and I'm glad you brought. And wait, Mr. Welcome. And I'm glad you interjected that, Hortensia, because that is the big question. Suppose he has been invited to the Caribbean conference, head of conference, and if he has been invited, it shows that, forgive me, it shows that our leaders are not ready for the position that they have.
But Quint, hold on. Let me also read this, and I quote. It says, "The Caribbean does not seek confrontation with the United States, nor does it seek dependency. What it seeks and has always sought is partnership rooted in mutual respect and mutual benefit. As we say, if Secretary Rubio attends the CARICOM summit, our leaders should be pragmatic, forward-looking, and prepared for empathetic and candid engagement. The moment calls for statesmanship." It says the United States and the Caribbean have cooperated for generations in trade, in security, in disaster response, and in shared democratic values. That record is solid. So the meeting in St. Kitts offers the chance to strengthen their cooperation for a new era, and that opportunity should be seized. End quote.
Look, I have no time for this kind of nonsense. You understand? What he's doing, if I'm going to be blunt, he's kissing up. I mean, listen to all of those things. It's like saying, as we often hear, America is our friend. We are friends of all, enemies of none. But what is America doing? America is telling you to cut ties with the people who offer you options to expand and deal with just America, who isn't offering you anything. You understand? It's telling you to take your students out of Cuba when poor people would not have been able to reach
Send
that
their
level
children
and
to
that kind of
school,
stuff.
yeah.
And what are they doing? Look at the history. It is the United States that helped to destroy our sugar industry. It is the United States that helped to destroy our banana industry. But our leaders keep saying, oh, let this be a reset. Reset for what? It's like going into a race, and every time you go into a race, you're going to a race with somebody who you know is going to cheat, and every time you still go and line up, and you know the person is going to cheat you again.
Leave you.
This is nonsense. I have no time for it. Well, our leaders do what they want, but I'm saying to the new generation, beware, because our sovereignty and our so-called independence is at stake.
To all who are listening and hear my voice, I am not a yes man. Okay? I will think about it. That's what I will say. You may think, I may say yes, but I will think about it. But I find something is not matching up.
But you know, we have plenty of talk when we're in opposition, and when we're inside is something different, you know.
Yeah.
That is true. Talk is cheap, risky cost money. Okay? But this is me talking now. Hold me to my utterance. Let me speak. Don't judge me, please. Judge me when I do it wrong. Contrary to what I said. All I'm simply saying, CARICOM has their meeting, they should have their meeting. And if there will be an arrangement with any other entity, you can do that. But I don't see Mark Rubio in that meeting. Okay? Because to me, it's how did he get that invitation to come to CARICOM? Unless he's coming on some kind of good gesture, sympathy, empathy, and compassion, which we need.
And which he has not shown. Don't tell me about what we need. What we need and what somebody shows is two different things.
Oh boy.
We cannot look back in any recent time and see that he has been showing any empathy, sympathy, or any of those things.
Right. Okay. But here is too. How does the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis because this meeting will be held in Bastia. How much people in St. Kitts know of this? Has it been announced to the general public?
I think everybody knows about this because this is too serious a thing, and people rumors are spreading, and some facts, some fiction. Anyway, I want to take a commercial break anytime soon. So finish your.
Okay, so I hope it is an important historical time for every individual to show up, whether they could get in or they could stand outside of the conference area and view their opinion. Freedom of speech. And don't be intimidated by police or any kind of authority. Freedom of speech. That's what we're supposed to be.
Yeah.
And keep it clear.
Yeah.
And I hope I could get the next time. Thank you.
Yeah. Before I close, look, it is evident what this is. We're having a Caribbean heads of government, and certain individuals feel that it is very important for them to send a very strong message that we are watching over you and be very careful of what you do and say if it is not in our interest. But what about what is in our interest, we the people? Let's take a bit of a commercial break and we'll be coming right back.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9.
You can win more with the Mega Ball. Pick 3 and pick 4, you could get it all.
Yes, playing Pick 3 and Pick 4 with the Caribbean Lottery just got more rewarding. For just an extra $1, increase your winnings by $1,000 with Pick 3 and $10,000 with Pick 4 when you play the Mega Ball.
You ready to win a little extra? You ready to win a little extra? You ready to win a little extra? Then get on the ball.
Play Pick 3 and Pick 4 with Mega Ball at Caribbean Lottery agents island-wide. Must be 21 and over to play.
Here comes the Mega Ball. Yes, playing Pick 3 and Pick 4. Lottery agents island-wide. You're over to play.
Here are your Horsford Value Mart IGA Blue Tag Special.
Running February 19th to March 4th.
Hunt spaghetti sauces are just $5.99. Progressive soups, $13.99. Essential everyday chunk and shredded cheeses, $7.99. La yogurt, $3.39. Blue Bunny ice cream, just $25.99. IGA or essential everyday waffles, $11.99.
Hello, our value deals. IGA and essential everyday honey beer, $19.99. Chef Boyardee canned pasta and microwave pasta, $6.99. IGA and essential everyday canned tuna, $3.49. Langus cranberry and pomegranate juices, $11.99. Soft soap liquid hand soap, $8.99. Irish Spring bar soap, $11.99. Shop Smart, Shop Value Mart. Tell them in Spanish.
Sea listo y haga sus compras aquí en Value Mart.
Hey, Shop Smart, Shop Value Mart. You can win more with the Mega Ball. Pick 3 and pick 4, you could get it all.
Yes, playing Pick 3 and Pick 4 with the Caribbean Lottery just got more rewarding. For just an extra $1, increase your winnings by $1,000 with Pick 3 and $10,000 with Pick 4 when you play the Mega Ball.
You ready to win a little extra? You ready to win a little extra? You ready to win a little extra? Then get on the ball.
Play Pick 3 and Pick 4 with Mega Ball at Caribbean Lottery agents island-wide. Must be 21 and over to play.
From February 1st to February 28th, the TDC Home and Building Depots are offering 3 products for its 2 products of the month promotion. Yes, we know, it's unbeatable. Also on sale with the Canon Pixma 2110 Megatank printer with USB printing capabilities, soft touch button commands, and multi-page printing per minute. Originally priced at $1,240, now $930. Save $310. Available at the TDC Home and Building Depots on the Frigate Bay Road in St. Kitts and Pitty's Industrial Estate in Nevis.
44 minutes. Francis, Managing Director of St. Kitts Marine Works Limited, regarding the company's use of Crown lands at the New Guinea Industrial and Commercial Development. On Thursday, February 19, 2026, senior officials of the government met with Mr. Francis in a cordial engagement aimed at resolving long-standing issues concerning the regularization of lands occupied by his company at the New Guinea Industrial and Commercial Development. Despite the respectful tone of that meeting, the ministry has since become aware of disinformation being disseminated by Mr. Francis, which distorts the factual and legal position. The public is therefore advised of the following facts. The St. Kitts Marine Works Limited has been operating its business at New Guinea Industrial and Commercial Development since approximately September 2006. St. Kitts Marine Works Limited has occupied approximately 15.21 acres of Crown land for nearly 20 years and now occupies approximately 26.6 acres of Crown land without paying rent for the land. St. Kitts Marine Works Limited has also constructed and utilized a seawall and berthing facilities on the adjacent seabed without entering into any seabed lease or paying rent for use of the seabed. In January 2021, the ministry entered into a land purchase agreement with Mr. Reginald Francis for 26.6 acres at the concessionary purchase price of EC 6,113,893,060. That's 450 cents per square footage, subject to specific conditions, including, or should that be 6 billion? Including completion within 1 year and other development obligations. The January 2021 agreement provided that failure to complete the purchase within 1 year and would trigger the regular purchase price of $7 per square foot and interest at 12% per annum. Despite occupying an entire 26.68 acres of business operations, only a partial deposit of EC 50,000 was paid towards the purchase price in February 2021. No further monies was paid to the government pursuant to the January 2021 agreement. St. Kitts Marine Works Limited therefore owes the government and the people of St. Kitts and Nevis, I would want to say that would be, I think it's 13 billion, but it's 13 million million, you think? Okay, so thanks for that, Quint. So 13,284,092.75 as at February the 23rd. I hope I'm saying this correctly. At February 23rd, 2026, pursuant to the January 2021 agreement. Further, St. Kitts Marine Works Limited has not only occupied the 26.68 acres parcel agreed to be allocated, instead it has encroached on some 16 adjacent commercial lots which were allocated within the New Guinea Industrial and Commercial Development to the detriment of those other landowners who have compiled their obligations. St. Kitts Marine Works Limited has also sued the government twice in recent months to seek payment of storage and related fees for 3 vessels stored at its boatyard, which sits on Crown land. These facts are documented in the official records of the Ministry and the Department of Lands and Surveys. The government's current position to seek regularization of the aforesaid lands is neither arbitrary nor punitive, despite the January 2021 land purchase agreement not being fulfilled. The government does not wish to disrupt the operations of St. Kitts Marine Works Limited. Instead, the ministry has proposed a reasonable framework to regularize St. Kitts Marine Works Limited Crown land occupation status, including the offer of a 10-year renewable lease for the 26.68 acres designated for occupation at the rental rate to be negotiated with the requirement to fence the said 26.68 acres, a 10-year renewable seabed lease for the marine area presently utilized at a rent of $4,000 per month, and application of the $50,000 deposit made in February 2021 towards rent on the lease arrangements be negotiated by the parties. The ministry has also asked St. Kitts Marine Works Limited to immediately vacate the 16 adjacent commercial lots which were allocated within the New Guinea Industrial and Commercial Development to other landowners. This proposal reflects the government's responsibility to safeguard Crown lands while supporting continued economic activity. Crown lands are public assets held in trust for the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. No individual or company is entitled to occupy such lands indefinitely without lawful tenure or compensation to the state. The ministry will not permit malicious disinformation to obscure this principle. The Ministry of Sustainable Development remains committed to transparency, fairness, and the orderly development of the New Guinea industrial and commercial developments for the benefit of all citizens. And that's the end of that article. Let me get these numbers correctly. I will. All right. So let me make sure I have these. All right.
And as you get yourself together, just to inform the audience, the listening audience, that some of the individuals stipulated in that communique will be here on Voices from 10 o'clock this morning to express themselves and to air their side of this ongoing thing. I don't even know how to term it, whether it is an event or if it is a saga, I don't know.
We think alike. I was thinking, but I don't know if we should use that word. Oh boy. Oh, so tomorrow, Quint, we know there will be the commissioning of the desalination plant at the C.A. Paul Southwell Industrial Park, Ambassador St. Kitts. And as I mentioned at the beginning of the program, that plant is already providing water to areas such as Bird Rock and Frigate Bay and other areas. I also saw in the article where there's drilling currently happening in Sadlers, so I hope that Sadlers yield good fruits and our water problems can be eased here in the Federation of St. Kitts and
most definitely,
Nevis.
because people have been complaining, water is an essential thing, and people have been complaining that their water supply is being cut off certain times in the early morning when they need to go to work, certain times in the evening when they need to
when they
after
come
they come from work and they want to take a
shower.
bath. So we're hoping that could be sorted out, because quicker the better for all of us.
Okay, indeed. And oh boy, images. Trying to see. All right, and as we continue along as well, I see that ECCB to phase out EC notes bearing images of British monarchy starting in 2027. So I'm all for that, and I hope that our first premier gets a note. Should I be biased to say we can put him on the $100 notes?
We have a call.
Caller, go ahead. You're live on Island Tea. Good morning.
Good morning, guys.
Yeah, I was wondering if you were going to be bold enough to give a call, or if you were going to cop out today.
I'm not right.
Well, I will get into that. Why would you expect me to cop out?
I don't that I've expected it. It's just that I asked myself the question, whether will he or will he not? Yeah.
You make it sound like.
But it's good to hear you, though. It's good.
Anyway.
It's good to hear you, though, because the fact that I hear you means that you are committed, and So thanks.
Well, first of all, right, what you just, that long rigmarole, around whatever you want to call it.
Oh, boy.
You have to wonder. They don't mind doing this to a local.
it's showing details and
Yeah,
agreements
yeah,
and those kinds of things.
yeah.
But ask them to do it about some foreign.
That's a great point. Great point.
It's like pulling teeth.
Yeah.
You never get anything. And which is the problem, I think, a lot of people would have with the government. They don't seem to value or promote or put our local people first.
Yeah.
You know, that's really, to me, that's an issue. Right?
And to strengthen the point that you just made, because we've been hearing about this thing for a long time. This has been an ongoing thing. And for whatever reason, why just now to come out and be bringing this long thing? I would have liked something like this to have been out long enough so that we could have perused it and be better prepared, for when we have a discussion.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's been saying so for ages, and nobody seems to get the message. Even in previous governments, the same thing, right? If you have a major project, the public should know about it, right? And they should know the details. Even even in a subdivision, some small project or something like that, right? If there are going to be changes, if it's going to affect residents and so on who are already there, then would normally be consulted on this, to make sure that they don't have concerns, whether it is and it's in keeping with zoning laws and that kind of stuff. Let's have a major project.
Yeah.
Right? But they don't seem, somehow or the other, I don't know if there are details in there which they don't want the public to know, which might be compromising or whatever. But they don't seem to want to do it for whatever reason.
And another one of my concerns, I think that, as Cortensia just says, we're going to discontinue having the British monarch on what did you say again, Cortensia?
Our monies.
On our monies, okay? We need to discontinue referring to these as crown lands. You understand? We need to finish with that nonsense also.
Yeah, that's, well, yes, that's true, right? And two, we need to be more understanding, be more careful with how we use those what were called crown lands. Okay, it should not be at the whim and fancy of any one government in power. Okay, it should be very careful. I don't see that caution at all. Right? That is why we can have like destiny projects and Thomas Hotel things and those kinds of things.
Yeah.
Right? There just isn't, among our leaders, there just isn't that consciousness of how important those kinds of things are to us, to the country. They just look at it as they see dollars and they see power and maybe in some cases kickbacks. I don't know. Those kinds of things, and it's so unfortunate, that we keep having this issue resurfacing time and time again. With regards the coming here, I heard you open. I was doing other things, so I couldn't come in then. But we've had ships from time to time, from various countries, coming here for all kinds of reasons. I can't remember. Well, the U.S. sometimes would send these Coast Guard cutters and so on. But I can't recall, maybe they were, but I can't recall a ship this big.
Yeah. No, yeah.
This looks even bigger than the destroyer. This looks cruiser-like or some specialized ship anyway. And I don't find anything wrong with it, to be quite honest.
I find something wrong with it, considering Marco Rubio's recent speech in Germany. The reason I see that wrong is because I think this is to say, remember that you are descendants of the Middle Passage, and remember what his statements were. He had no apologies and in relation to the Middle Passage. So I have a problem with it.
Well, timing is everything, Quint. If, for instance, that it is normal protocol for a ship like that to be berthed in a country where Marco Rubio is the Secretary of State is going to visit. If it's normal protocol, if, for instance, when they had the meeting in Jamaica, the same thing happened, in other words, it seems
to me from statement made earlier by a particular individual that it is the norm that this ship follows him where he goes. I hear that, but hear this. Why at this point when we're having a Caribbean heads of government? That is the salient question.
Well, we're back to timing is everything.
Yes.
Right? Because if I'm glad that he's coming here, okay, to talk to the CARICOM leaders. Because I think that after that speech in Munich, we owed some kind of clarification, explanation, or whatever you want to call it, okay? And so I would like to hear exactly what you would have to say.
I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with that. I hear you on that, and I don't disagree with you on that. What I have a problem with is this going to be that he's going to be a part of the Caribbean heads of government?
Well, that's why I said timing is everything. If he's going to meet them before they meet collectively, then there is a problem in the sense that he is obviously going to set the tone for that meeting.
That's what I'm thinking.
Right? Now, if it is after, again, it's not to me, it's not a huge problem.
Neither to me. And we discussed this before, You and I, we discussed this before, and we're saying basically the same thing again. We don't have a problem with it. We don't have a problem with him coming and sitting down with Caribbean heads of government, But it is when and not in the Caribbean heads of government sitting where they're coming to discuss things to do with Caribbean events and happenings and going-ons and so forth.
That's an opportune time, I would say, for him to do it. It's just that whether he does it before or after that is important, because if he does it before, essentially what he is expressing is the U.S. point of view. Because I think generally speaking, when you have these CARICOM meetings, people from other officials from other countries invited or as observers or whatever, and there's nothing wrong with that either. It is not normally at this level. I think not the level of Secretary of State. I don't think that is the usual case, right? So this
anyway, we're gonna have to. We're 2 minutes over time. Cartensia has to end, and we have another program coming up. So we might have to revisit this tomorrow or so.
Yeah. Okay. No problem.
Okay. Thanks for your input, though.
Don't panic. Don't panic.
Who are you telling not to panic? I would say to you, don't panic. Not to myself.
No, boy.
I am a natural when it comes to these things. You understand? So, but not everyone is that way.
There's any need for anybody to panic over this.
I agree. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
All right.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
More than 42 million cars from 19 different car companies are being recalled for faulty airbag inflators. Repairs are fast, easy, and free. The problem isn't with the airbag, it's with the airbag inflator. Because the inflator can rupture, shooting shrapnel through the airbag, which can cause serious injury or even death. Don't risk it, fix it.
Please contact TDC Automotive Division to find out if your Toyota vehicle is affected by the Takata airbag recall. Visit or call us at 465-2511 in St. Kitts or 469-5430 in Nevis.
Rams the good food people, always there to serve you. Rams the good food people, locations right near you. Rams the good food people, in-store specials for you. Rams the good food people. When you need better service, Rams is always here. Better value, better prices. Rams is always here. To win your loyalty, Rams is always here. We are community. We are family. We are family. We are community.
Hey kids, it's chubby time. I have to go to school and learn and play with my friends too. Every day is fun day, cause I love my chubby chubby. Chubby, 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 chubby. Lots of flavors for me to choose. Every day they keep me cool. It fits my handmade just for me. Everybody loves chubby. Chubby, 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 chubby. Every day is fun day. Chubby.
From February 1st to February 28th, the TDC Home and Building Depots are offering 3 products for its 2 products of the month promotion. Yes, we know it's unbeatable.